And welcome back, class, to The Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings. In the last episode, we finally found our way up here to this intersection, and we killed a whole bunch of harpies, in style. And now we're going to see what's up here, other than a harpy nest. Magical crystal. Can I destroy that harpy nest? I guess not. Regardless, we've found the magical item we need. Now we can head back. These tiresome leaps. There we go. Gotta get into the right position first. Yep, there we go. And leaped! Too bad it's not a quantum leap. It's spectacular. He's in a new show now, isn't he? After the disaster that was Enterprise. He started on, was it Men of a Certain Age with Ray Romano? I haven't watched it, but I've heard that Season 2 has really taken off. So if any of you have watched Men of a Certain Age, do let me know. Is it any good? Worth checking out? Not that I have much free time, but, you know, if it's really an excellent show, maybe I'll check it out. I mean, my plate is pretty full with, like, Game of Thrones, and, Archer, whenever that's out. Love Archer. If you guys haven't watched it, please do so. Archer is one of the best things on TV right now. I hope Mad Men comes back on too. It took me a long time to get into Mad Men, I'm going to admit. Like, several episodes. Because I was deeply offended. Well, not deeply offended, that's being melodramatic. I found the show's presentation of, you know, women and workplace attitudes and all that objectionable, but not really in a bad way, just sort of in a this isn't really my thing way. But I kept watching it because, you know, my roommate at the time kept telling me, you gotta watch Mad Men. You gotta watch Mad Men. And so I did. And after a little while, it just got to the point where, like, you come to terms with the fact that it's depicting the 50s and 60s faithfully. So, like, sure, the way women are viewed is, you know, really outdated. That's because
nothing good in
it's
store.
50s and 60s. I mean, this seems really obvious, you know, looking back in retrospective. But at the time when I started watching it, I was, you know, in the middle of school, and there's being constantly bombarded with, what was it I'm being constantly bombarded with? I don't know why there are all these weapons except to sell them. Constantly bombarded with all this gender equity and stuff like that. Issues and concerns that people have about how genders are presented and how girls and boys are treated in schools and how education is tailored towards one gender or the other. Fun fact, the way we teach in schools traditionally, or currently rather, is geared towards the female learner. Now this is of course a generalization, as you know, if you look on a bell curve, there are boys who learn well the same way, but in general, what you see is on a bell curve, on average, the way education is presented is weighted towards a female perspective. What is this place? Oh, okay, I know where I am. I know where I am. So there are always concerns at certain levels of educational study. Yes, education is a field of study up to the doctorate and postdoctorate levels. So there are always concerns about how are each gender's needs being met and how are they being addressed. And of course, Have I taken the most roundabout route towards Philippa possible? And of course, you know, there's constant ongoing debate and study into these phenomena and into these ideas to try and see, like, what tactics we can use to address not just the needs of one group, but address the needs of as many groups as possible. Which is where we come across things like multiple intelligence theory and all this stuff that you can look into if you're remotely interested in pedagogy. And why teaching these days works the way it does. Okay, here we are, Philippa. Let's talk.
You wanted to discuss something?
I got you some magic stuff.
I found one of the ingredients for Saskia's cure.
Show me. Interesting. Getting warmer, but still not there. It's as if I'd sent you to get me the sun and you'd brought me a candle. We need something massive, an item of real power, Geralt.
I got an item of real power.
This is a dwarf's dream.
Right here.
Stolen and magically encased in this crystal. It would do if it was stronger.
You know what this means? In addition to normal harpies, there are Solano in the area.
Solano?
Dream snatchers. The only harpy species to develop something resembling intelligence. They magically bind dreams to mountain crystals. I heard they once inhabited this area. Solano live among regular harpies, but their lair should be full of stolen dreams. One of those would be powerful enough, I'm sure.
You'd have to enter the harpy lair through the quarry. Unfortunately, the gate to the caves is locked and Cecil Burden won't open it. I asked him on another occasion. Stubborn as a mule, that one. But we must not relent. Saskia clings to life by a thread. Let me show you the desire contained in this particular dream. Don't be hasty to judge.
Okay.
Yes, I can feel it. Whose dream is it?
Cecil Burden's.
In that case, I need to see the alderman. Got a feeling he just might open the gate for me.
Just might. By the way...
You wanted...
Found the notes of a scholar of the hunt.
There's proof that the wild hunt is a vast accumulation of the power. Something that would interest mages, you'd think.
To the mere mortal, anything that is not immediately comprehensible is suspect, the product of a conspiracy. And where there's a conspiracy, well, it's obvious mages must have hatched it.
I'm a mortal, though probably not a mere one. I found the notes of a man who spent his entire life...
Paranormal phenomena interests Cynthia, my intern. Take this up with her.
Okay. See you later.
Remember the antidote for Saskia. It's very important.
Yeah, I know. What's up, bitchy McBitchpants?
I'm trying to learn something about the wild hunt.
Very interesting phenomenon. Like all mysterious things.
Willing to share what you know?
Well, I would be. Provided you found the notes of Morton Collis first.
Yeah, I did.
He devoted almost his entire life to researching the hunt. We could go into detail if you had his scribblings.
I do.
I found Morton Collis's notes.
Yay!
So, let's see what you've learned.
Well, there are a few documented facts, but Collis notes the existence of plenty of myths and legends.
And where there's
Very
smoke, there's
true.
fire?
Where shall we start, then?
Oh, God, more talking.
When I pursued the hunt, I passed through many abandoned villages.
Well, the wild hunt abducts young people.
Naturally.
What for?
The Wraiths might need workers, warriors, or meat.
Collis seems to favor the slave theory.
Okay.
Collis claims the hunt's appearance can be predicted by observing the Orcan Nebula.
And eclipses affect how often it appears. In any case, it arrives on the winter solstice, though not necessarily every year.
Collis calculated that the hunt slips into our world in those years when the nebula is in the eastern sky.
Oh, interesting.
What's the sorceress's take on the hunt?
The topic makes them uneasy. Since the Council and Conclave banned the use of mind spells, the wild hunt has been a taboo topic.
Really?
There's some link between mental spells and the cavalcade?
Both addle the brain.
Ah,
Anyone who has come in contact with the wild hunt has experienced mental instability
like
that
me.
either takes the form of insanity or amnesia.
Geralt.
You see, the wraiths emit a magnetic field that severely distorts perception and impedes brain functions.
I better reverse the polarity.
People say the hunt's appearance is an omen of war.
In our times, wars are so frequent, we might even consider flights of honking geese as their harbinger.
Fair enough.
The hunt traverses our world in winter. Wars usually break out in spring, but only because rulers wish their soldiers to die in battle, rather than of cold.
Unless you're Napoleon or Hitler, and you keep trying to invade Russia. Not a smart idea. No one ever wins a land war in Russia. Ever.
First and foremost, Collis studied the hunt's movement.
Oh, it's well known that the wild hunt moves north to south,
That makes
never in the
sense.
opposite direction.
Given that
That's
Geralt
what I
chased them
remember,
south.
and Collis's research confirms it. I'm just having trouble understanding why that is.
Magnetic
The retinue's
fields.
trajectory brings it into our world at the North Pole. Thus, once here, the wraiths can only move south.
Plus Santa chases them away. And the elves are vicious. Not the elves that we see here, but like the North Pole elves, the little ones who make toys. Yeah, they also make machine guns.
Let's summarize.
Based on his observations and calculations of the wild hunt's movements, Collis arrived at two equally important conclusions. The first was that the hunt is made up of knights who perished in various worlds and have reconvened as a retinue of vengeance. His second hypothesis states that an unknown, extremely powerful force multiplies wraiths, whose task is to travel between worlds in search of slaves. Both theories seem probable.
Each time someone runs into the hunt, the Wraith's magnetic field causes their mind to descend into chaos. By inference, another meeting with the hunt and its field should reverse the effects of the first.
That doesn't make sense.
Perhaps. Someone who lost their memory or their mind on their first meeting with the hunt could recover either on the second meeting. But I'm afraid that's unproved.
But
Anyone
that's
who has
not
managed to
science.
escape the wraiths would rather die than meet them again.
So, you can lose or recover your memory by meeting the wild hunt.
Do you know something I don't?
I have amnesia, but my memory's been coming back since a certain event.
Since when?
Since I killed a specter, the king of the wild hunt.
In the first game. Okay, so I don't think Geralt's theory is very good. That's sort of like saying the cure for radiation-induced cancer is to go and get more radiation, which I guess is one of the treatments they use. Radiation therapy. Maybe it makes sense. It just seems more like it would compound the problem and cause insanity and amnesia rather than curing the amnesia. But, you know, I'm not a doctor. Then again, neither is Geralt. Until next time, all the best.